Hey, my name is Joe Latender. Welcome to my channel, So That's How You Do That. Now today I'm going to share with you in this video how to install vinyl plank or laminate into a closet, where you continue on into a closet. I talked to a lot of people skip closets or they just struggle with them. They can be tricky, and that's why I made this video today where I'm going to share with you some tips that you can use so that you can successfully install plank into a closet. To set this up, what we're doing right now is I'm installing in a bedroom right now. I'm working towards the closet. I'm putting in the last few rows, and as we come up to this closet and I cut in these other rows, now we're going to get set up to move on into this closet, and I'm going to share that with you right now. So here, let's watch. So I have a doorway here, and I undercut the jambs. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure I have a joint somewhere in the doorway. I'm going to line this plank up perfectly on top with the plank underneath, so the locking systems are lining up perfectly with one another. I'll do the same with this next piece. And I only need to bring this piece, I don't need to put another one on there. I just needed to get past the corner here. So now all this is lined up. Now I'll take our cheater board, bring it out past the corner a little bit, make my mark there, all the way along here. So what this is called is a cheater board. Now this is something that is going to save you a lot of time, and it's also going to be something that you're going to be able to use on all of your marking your wall cuts, all of your doors, and really any cut that you're going to have in your installation. It saves you a ton of time, and your cuts that you mark are going to be perfect every time when you use one of these. Now what you can do though is you can adjust how big of an expansion joint you're going to have. Now what I always do is I cut off this part of the plank. This is called the groove. That's what I cut off to make my cheater board. And you can take a little bit off, or you can take it all off, and that's going to determine how big your expansion joint is. So you can play with that a little bit as you're making your cheater board and starting doing your first few cuts to see how much you want to take off of that. I usually take the entire groove off, and that usually gives me about 1/4 inch to 3/16 of an inch expansion joint, which is perfect for vinyl plank. Now when I get to this point right here, I'm going to make sure I have the factory edge there. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit from this door, so it's going to run underneath. It's going to run underneath, and then I'll just make sure I get it where it needs to be there. So now I have this marked right here. And I just repeat the same thing over here. Get it square, so it's going to go underneath this trim. Now along the sheetrock. Oops. And then right here is where I'm cutting out for this. So now I'll just take these, I'll cut them. You might want to do this on a jigsaw. So this time I'm going to cut more. Go 4 times. I'm going to go 4 times here. Okay, now I'm just square this twice. Also, my utility blade needs to be changed. Let's try that one again. Let's try it on here first. Okay, so now I have that. Now this is a spot where I would just go ahead and get this thing down into place right here. Right before I get to the jamb, I'm going to drop it down. I'm going to lock it in place using my plank hammer. Now I'm going to attach a scrap piece right here, and I'm going to hit that this way. I have enough room so I can use my plank hammer instead of my pull bar. And then just knock it that way until it gets underneath. Now for the next piece, I'm going to try to slide it under. And you see how I have the sheetrock cut up here? That was so I could slide the plank as far as I can that way. Now I can clear the locking system here, and I can start to bring the plank back. Now I'm just going to lift up right here. I'm going to get it locked into the butt joint. So that's locked in. Now I can lift up, get my hand under there, and start working this in with the plank hammer. Now this is probably a spot right here to get this in that you're going to want to use your pull bar. And you can also use your plank hammer. I put a scrap piece on here. I'm getting my fingers under a little bit. I'm pressing down right here so that it's going to go into the locking system. And now I'm going to hit it. And you can see all that locked in now. So I didn't actually need to use the pull bar right there at all. So all I did is I shoved my scrap piece in there. I lifted up just a little with my fingers and I hit it that way. And then it locked down. So in this next part of the video, I want to share with you another method that you can use if you're struggling getting that plank together in the doorway, because you might have a thicker plank, something that's more durable, where the locking system, you can't just hit that together. You got to get the plank up at an angle more severely to be able to get it to lock together. Now there's a method that you can do to modify the locking system, the groove, which I'm going to show you right now, so that you don't have to lift up at an angle. You can just slide the plank together and it locks together. So let me show you that again. You just slide it together and you can see that joint is tight and it just pulls apart. And all you're going to do is modify this locking system, and we're going to put a little glue in it to get that to stay together. So here, let's watch. So what I'm doing here is I'm modifying the locking system, and I'm taking the lip of the groove off. And the reason why I do this is so that we don't have to lift the plank at an angle to get it together. When you can see the lip right here, is all I do is run the utility knife right down the edge of that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use some clear Gorilla Glue. And before we do that, we want to activate that clear Gorilla Glue with water. So I'm taking a terry cloth that I got wet, and I'm going to make sure that I get that on the groove and also on the tongue. So you want to make sure that you get that moist. And all I did was dip that terry cloth right in water. I wrung it out just a little bit, so there's definitely some water on there. And then I'll just rub that terry cloth right down the locking system. Now again, that's what's going to activate the clear Gorilla Glue to make sure that this is going to hold for you. Now be sure that you run a nice good bead of the clear Gorilla Glue right down the joint like I'm showing. And now we're just going to slide this plank in here. Now you can see how the plank goes underneath the door jamb. There's no way I could lift that plank up right now to get it at an angle to get it locked in. And when you have a very big, long plank, especially a thick vinyl plank like this that's extremely durable, not very bendable, well, it's going to take modifying the locking system to get that together. Now once you're all done putting that plank together, take that rag with denatured alcohol again and clean that joint off really good. You don't want to leave any clear Gorilla Glue left on top of this plank. If it dries, it's going to be very difficult to get off if you get it off at all. Now I'm just going to continue on doing the same thing. You can see how easy this makes this to be able to put the plank in when you are in a doorway. Just modify that locking system. Now I can bend it a little bit to get that joint together. Not quite all the way. We'll finish that up in a little bit, but now let's put the long joint all together. So I use my plank hammer to get it started, and then we're going to finish it off using our pull bar. So we'll get that short joint together, and now we go down and get the long joint all together using that pull bar. Once we get that plank locked together, I make sure I wipe the joint off really good, and then we're going to apply some blue tape to hold those plank together, and we'll leave that blue tape on until the next day. So in this situation, if it was a struggle to put this plank in, we could modify the locking system and only have to start it right here where the plank ends, and then carry that on all the way to the end of the wall here. So this would be the section of plank that would need to get modified. So not really too much at all, and then it would make it a lot easier for you to be able to get that plank into place, glued and locked in. Now to continue on into this closet, I'm just going to take a scrap piece, a full piece, whatever it would be. I'm going to stick it in here. You could do a couple scrap pieces. Get that locked in. Now I'm going to hook on plank to both sides, or to this scrap piece. And I want to make sure when I do this that this joint doesn't line up with any other joints. I'm going to take a little off of this one. So I'm running it all the way back into the closet, making sure that I leave my expansion joint. Now I'm going to just take this piece and I'm going to hook this on. So you've been seeing me use this tool quite a bit in this video. Now this is what I call the plank hammer. It's a tapping block. This is one that I designed that has a handle on it that I like because you're able to move your hand around in different spots to be able to get some finesse with this tapping block, because not all plank goes together the same, and you can use this delicately and you can also use it with some brute force. I designed this to really be DIY friendly, and so I wanted to share this with you. Now a tapping block, whether it's this one or not, is really going to help you with your plank installation. It's nice because it's all in one, right? You don't have to use a separate tapping block with a dead blow hammer or a rubber mallet. It really makes it so that you can use both hands for holding the plank and also for holding your tapping block to get some finesse and put that plank together. So this is something that I would recommend, whether you buy the plank hammer or something similar to it, get yourself a tapping block. It's really going to help you so much with your vinyl plank installation. Now I'll share a link below this video that you can go and check out on my tools page. Check this out. I also have one more tool that's called the plank puller. And this is a pull bar. This is also a tool that you would need to use inside your project along walls and things like that. So check this out also. I'll leave links below for both of these. So let's continue with the video. So same thing, I'm just going to run the cheater board up to the sheetrock. Come up to the edge right there. So it's going to slide underneath. Draw my line. So basically this is what we're cutting out. Normally I would be inside here, but I'm trying to show you. So I didn't go far enough. I need to bring this in some more. That'll be short if I put it right there. So I'm going to draw it in more. Now this marker will come off with denatured alcohol. Comes right off easy. Or just normal alcohol. So now this will be what I'll cut out. So now we're just going to do the same thing that I did earlier. Slide it until I can't slide it anymore. Hit it down. Put a scrap on here. And then we'll hit it this way. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to slide this under, and I need to get my hand underneath here a little bit and then bend right here. And I need to kind of make this so it's going to get into the joint. So what I did is I came past a little bit. You can see how I'm past a little bit. Then I bend it both ways. So here and here. And that gives it so that I can get it right into that joint then. Now take your plank hammer and hit it forward until it goes into the joint. Now it needs to lock in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up. I'm going to get my hand under here. So I'm at an angle now, you can see that. And then I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to try to do this so that you can see it. I got my hand under. Now I'm just going to lock this in. And it just locked in there and there with a light tap. And now everything is locked together, nice and flat. So here's another tip for you. Even though we're talking about closets, I want to let you know that when you cut the last row in, no matter where it is in your house, it can be in any room, when you cut a final row in, is all you do is you line that plank up with the plank underneath. And so if this was an example and I was putting plank on top of this, to line it up, I'm just making sure these locking systems are lined up perfectly. And then you know that you're perfectly lined up, and then you can grab your cheater board and start using that to mark all the walls. Now again, no matter how long the wall is, you're just gonna run that plank from wall to wall, get it lined up, use the cheater board, make your marks. Then you're gonna take the plank apart, go cut it wherever you're cutting, and then bring it back, and now you're gonna start installing. Now, an easy way to install this plank is get it into the joint, start it into the joint, and then you can use your pull bar to get that into the joint. Now it's nice to use a pull bar in a situation like this because you get a lot of leverage there where you can't get your hands or you can't get your tapping block. So the pull bar is taking the place of that plank hammer. Okay, so there was a lot of tips that I shared with you that'll help you successfully get into those closet doors and install through those closets. Now I have a lot more videos out there that talk about vinyl plank installation, and as a matter of fact, there's a couple more on doorways where you're going into a bedroom, continuing on into a bedroom or into another room without using a transition. And then also the plank running parallel with the doorway or perpendicular. There's two separate videos. I'm going to leave links below for those. Also, if you're looking for help on where to start with plank direction, or how to start those first few rows, or anything in between from the very end of your project to the beginning, I have all of those right here on this channel, so go ahead and check those out. Hit that subscribe button and that like button if you liked this video, and if you want to be notified, hit that notification bell. I really do appreciate you hitting that like button if this video helped you. Now, the other thing I want to share with you is if you are looking for some more help and you'd like to get some one-on-one help from me, check out the link below to Plank Bootcamp. You can join Plank Bootcamp, share your drawing with me, pictures, pretty much anything on the membership site, and I'll help walk you through your vinyl plank installation, answering any questions that you might have throughout the entire process. Now, this is a year-long membership, so go check that out. It gives you plenty of time to go in and do some research and to get the help that you might need. So check out that link below for Plank Bootcamp. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to pray for you. Father God, I pray for everybody watching this video, Lord. I pray that you bless them and their families if they have one. And Lord, I pray that you're with them during this project, helping them get through it, the stress of it, just finding the information that they're going to need to be able to get this thing done, Lord, so that they can, save some money, Lord. That's what it's all about. We need your help with this. And so I pray, Lord, that you give these people that are watching the wisdom that they need to be able to complete this. Give them some skills in their fingers, Lord. And I pray, Lord, that you give them strength in their bodies for those times when they get sore. I know life gets in the way, and so I pray, Lord, again, take the stress away. And I pray for these things in Jesus' name. All right, my name is Joe Latender. I just want to tell you one more time, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.